Hi, Dr. Ziggy here with Matt behind the camera.
Hey.
We're back, Matt. It's been like 3 months since we recorded our last video.
It has been a hot minute.
Yeah, man. I've been traveling. I did 2 tours around the world. Conferences, meetings, book launches, everything.
Chippendale's performances.
No.
That's for Patreon.
Definitely not. No, I'm glad to be back. Glad to be recording videos again. We're going to change the topic a little bit. All our videos have been about artificial intelligence. This one is going to be about Magic the Gathering.
All right, I'm into this.
Yeah, I knew you'd get excited about this. Now, we both love Magic the Gathering, the card game. We both play it quite frequently together and in groups. What I want to do today is present to you a new Magic format that I created.
Okay, I'm interested.
I want you to rate it and just give me your thoughts. I'm really excited about this. I think this Magic format is good. Personal opinion, subjective opinion, but I'm excited about it, man. It's called Ascension.
Ascension. All right.
Ascension. I'll give you the executive summary. Ascension is a continuous 2-deck Magic format. When a player suffers their first defeat, their first form is broken, they ascend, reveal their second ascended deck, and return to the battlefield in a more powerful form. The battlefield persists between rounds, including lands, allowing the transformed deck, the new deck, to unleash enormous creatures and expensive spells using the resources already established during the first round.
All right, I'm kind of into this.
This is cool. Good because we all love big creatures, big spells, but we never get to play them.
Yeah.
We never get to play them, right? So this kind of forces the issue. Because when you play a normal game, then as soon as someone loses, you bring in a deck full of monsters, like huge expensive monsters, huge expensive spells, enchantments and whatnot, and you already have lands available to you. And you bring it in and you fight it off until you die a second time.
This is pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm excited about
it.
It
kind of reminds me of like Final Fantasy bosses.
Yeah. That was my inspiration.
Nice.
Fighting game and gaining bosses where you think you've killed them and then they transform into a second form and you got to fight this bigger, stronger monster. That's the idea.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I'm excited about this. All right. So let's get into the nitty gritty. Firstly, I am going to be strict about this. I am the boss. I am trademarking this Magic format, and no one is allowed to play this format unless they maintain purity of Magic the Gathering universe.
Oh, what? Wait, so no SpongeBob?
No SpongeBob, no Spider-Man, no Fallout, no Dungeons and Dragons even. Just pure Magic there. We've talked about this. The enshittification that is happening all around us by corporations ruining beautiful products by trying to do cheap money grabs. I remember when I started playing Magic the Gathering, January 2001. That's going back a long time. I have a claim to fame with respect to that. And what got me into the game was not only the mechanics, but just the atmosphere of the game. You know, the everything was kind of synced together. It was in the same kind of unison, and you cared about the cards and the artwork and the names of the creatures and how they and what the story was behind them. That's all gone now, isn't it? That's all gone because I'm playing a Magic the Gathering game, and like you say, Wolverine comes in, Spider-Man comes in, SpongeBob comes in. Come on, man. So what Wizards of the Coast have destroyed the entire atmosphere of the game, and all that's left is the mechanics. And the mechanics are fine and they're fun, but I want to recapture that initial, feeling I had in 2001 in January with like a brand new format and a brand new atmosphere. That's what I'm doing. So every card's outside the pure Magic the Gathering multiverse universe, bad. Gone.
In this particular format.
In this particular format, yeah. Because like I like this analogy. We play Dungeons and Dragons as well. Can you imagine walking through a medieval village in Forgotten Realms you've got your, an elven forest in the background, and your quest is to go and save some famous elf. And you go into this forest, and suddenly Spider-Man jumps out, or SpongeBob jumps out, or
It breaks the immersion.
it breaks it, right?
It takes you out.
It breaks it. It breaks it. So the same thing kind of is happening with Magic the Gathering. Now, obviously, Dungeons & Dragons is more of a theatre of the mind kind of game, so it's not quite a strict good analogy. But I do remember when I first started playing Magic, that atmosphere, playing at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the middle of the night with all your friends around, lights are dimmed. It was a beautiful experience. I want to recapture that. So, purity of Magic the Gathering, number 1. New mechanics. Heroic Interception.
Please explain.
Please explain.
Once each round, if a source would deal damage to a creature or planeswalker you control, you may have that source deal that much damage to you instead. So you can take the place of a creature or planeswalker and take that damage. Because the idea now is that there's a new strategy in play, is that maybe it's beneficial for you at a given particular moment to ascend.
Interesting.
Yeah. Take the hit, ascend, bang, and you're in with your second deck.
And possibly some killer eyes combo.
Whatever, right?
Right.
So that's the idea. It brings in an extra element of strategy with your second ascended deck. There is also, and this is optional, we have to playtest this, is a rage counter given to the person that was defeated and who was ascended. So they're angry, they have this rage counter, and they can use this rage counter. What the rage counter does, I'll get to in a second. So, the first death is a form break. That's the technical term. Your form breaks, and you finish resolving the spell or ability or combat that caused the form break. Remove everything from the stack, end the current turn, and remove all kinds of player counters on the defeating player, like poison counters. Rage counter is given, like I said. This is another new mechanic. Land catch-up rule is applied. If you have fewer lands than the victorious player, you get to choose basic lands from your deck to even out the lands on the battlefield. This is obviously, we need to playtest this, see how it works, but I want to kind of even the field out a little bit for your Ascendancy deck to kick in a little bit. And the battlefield persists. So everything on the battlefield and in exile remains on the table for both players, except for the graveyard, the commander, new commander, and the deck. The deck is cleared. So graveyard, commander, and deck all are cleared, but everything on the battlefield persists.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the idea is you kind of want your second deck to also complement your first deck. So there's an inter-deck kind of interplay as well.
So then, for example, if you had a red-white deck as your first deck, and then suddenly that deck is defeated, you ascend, and your next deck is a blue-black deck.
Yeah.
All of your red-white cards that are currently on the field, creatures, things, they might not be useful anymore. So you really got to think about what two decks you pair up.
Yeah, exactly. It's an extra element of strategy that you have to consider, because your lands would be the first color as well. Or you could expand the second deck to incorporate another color, have another land color coming in, so you can use all the lands already on the board. So battlefield persists, and the form broken player's cards in hand may remain in hand. So you may keep the cards in hand. The form broken player revives, ascends into a new form, and the new round begins. And you reveal the second deck with your new commander. The life total, I think, should be reset to 30. I don't know yet. We need to play this out. Then the fog of war phase begins. The ascended player goes first. The winning player of the round goes second. And during these two turns, no damage can be dealt. There's a fog of war on the entire table.
Interesting.
So nothing can be targeted, no board wipes, nothing like this. So the ascendant player has one turn to set up. The winning player, or first round winner, has a turn to see what the deck is of the ascended player, to see what kind of strategy is coming up, and to prepare for this strategy. So fog of war, one turn each. And then bang, it's game on again. And the Ascended player has the, I don't know, momentum, or maybe not the momentum, but it has the stronger deck in hand. However, the winning player perhaps could still continue on with the winning combinations and strategies that it used to beat the first form of the player. So it keeps going. Now, the rage counter. This is something that we need to playtest. I'm not sure whether the land catch-up rule is enough for the Ascended player to sort of have a second go at the winning player. Maybe the winning player has such a good setup on the board that it's not enough. That fog of war turn is not enough to bring yourself up to a position to defend and to attack or to be a threat again. So I've thought of having a rage counter where if you're Ascended, you know how in Dragon Ball Z and whatever.
Yeah, I was thinking Dragon Ball Z this whole time. You fool! This isn't even my final form!
Yeah. So you kind of have a rage counter, and you can use this rage counter any time during your turn. There's 5 options that you can use the rage counter for. Second Wind, draw 2 cards or create 2 treasure tokens. Power Surge, add 3 mana in any combination of colors. Recovery, during Ascension, before your first form graveyard is cleared, you may return 1 creature card with mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the backfield. Stagger, tap up to 2 permanents controlled by the round's victor. They do not untap during that player's next untap step. That's a powerful one.
That's very powerful.
That's very powerful, but I kind of think it might be necessary. We need to play test this. You've got a deck suddenly that is superior to the other person's deck, and I kind of want this next round to continue on a little bit before the other player ascends. That's the so we'll need to play test this.
So wait, when do you get the rage counter? Is that when you've ascended you get the rage?
Yeah, as soon as you lose, you go down to 0 health, you get the rage counter, and then everything triggers, and then there's an option as you're ascending, you can get the creature out of the graveyard before it's cleared, and then any time during the next round you can use that rage counter.
That's cool.
Yeah. So your cards in hand you can choose to keep, and then when your second deck comes in, you can bring in up to 7 cards from your second deck, but you might have powerful cards in you.
Interesting. Up to 7 cards. Is it you can bring in up to 7 cards from your deck as well as the ones that you're already holding, or is it
no? You can only have 7 cards
to a maximum.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, and the last rage counter option, the 5th one, suppression. Choose up to 1 creature controlled by the opponent. Until the end of your next turn, this creature loses all abilities and cannot gain abilities. So I kind of want to suppress, for example, a really powerful commander that's been built up, and it'll be like a 1-hit combo even in the Ascended form. So that's the idea of the rage counters, to give the Ascended form at least a couple of turns, but you do want the other player to ascend as well.
True.
So it's a balance,
because you've got to defeat it the second time.
Yeah.
To actually win.
Yeah. So it's a balance, right?
That's really cool.
And then the idea is that also, if you ascend first, this is another strategy. It might be worthwhile for you to ascend first and establish your powerful creatures, and then when the second player ascends, they're like a few turns behind you.
Yeah.
As well.
Sounds really fun.
Yeah. And obviously,
nice.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? I'm really excited, man. I'm trademarking it, everything. You name it, it's there. And obviously, the special rules, once each game means once during the match. Some cards will have to be banned under this new format to promote fair play. Every format has a list of banned cards. They just ruin the fun, right? Ruin the fun. Monarch designation persists. So in the Magic universe, there is Monarch. Monarch. That would persist. The Ascension deck may contain lands, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. Your first deck might want to be the land creating deck. And then you just take all the hits and you just bring in like 20 lands in 3 turns, 4 turns, 5 turns. Then you ascend, and suddenly during the fog of war, it's your second deck.
Yeah,
That's your powerful deck, right?
Right.
So there's all these strategies that you can...
This is really cool, and I can really see room for a lot of interesting, is your second deck a really expensive demon deck or a dinosaur deck where all the creatures that you don't normally get to play because they cost so much.
And that's the other
really
inspiration,
neat.
like I mentioned. Like we all have these monsters that we just don't get to play.
Yeah.
But this second deck, suddenly you do. It's a free for all, right?
This is cool. I like
It's
this a
cool,
lot.
isn't it, man?
It's really cool.
I'm excited, dude. I really am, yeah.
Yeah, neat. Neat.
Yeah.
Very neat. Cool.
All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Tell us what you think about all of this, and maybe we'll have like a live first playthrough, maybe
Definitely.
someday, and see how it goes. Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back with more AI videos soon. Promise.
After we've had a few games of this.
That's right.